that concept of wanting an object that represents adventure rather than seeking out the adventure.
Yeah, I think the first thought I had when you said that was, will this object pull me into adventure because I've got to make the investment in it worthwhile? And I'm inspired by what this could mean to start making work with it and go to places where better work might happen. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean like you're going to Bombay or you're going to, far off places. It could mean you're going up to Norfolk, Nebraska, for the day and exploring there to see what's going on. But I think it goes back to, we talked about this in an episode a long time ago, when my sister told me she was going to send me her iBook G3. I can't write anything until I get it. There's a better, cooler tool out there. So I couldn't possibly write another screenplay or outline until I get that better tool that'll allow me to do this or go to the coffee shop to realize a fantasy that
that you've just created for yourself recently,
because an object that I couldn't have gone and bought at the Apple Store myself back then, but would be provided to me. And so you get into stuff like that. I mean, one of my things, like with my studio, if you guys watch the studio tour, and you obviously being there, there's a lot of purchases in there that are part of a fantasy or what I call like an ambition-based purchase. I see the item, it's inexpensive, but it means a lot to me, not necessarily because of its value, the monetary value, but what I could do with this. I could take this old stereo and clean it up and use it, or sell it for a profit, or I can take all these digital cameras and make videos on my channel and have another revenue stream, another place for self-expression, another way to build community and connect with other people. Mm-hmm. And I'll give that object all this ambition and all this fantasy. And then sometimes you follow through on that, and it does help you to step up to the plate and deliver on it. But more often than not, after that initial explosion of dopamine and the fantasy generation and all that stuff, it's something that's just kind of a burden taking up space in your studio, and you're seeking out the next moment where you see an object that spawns fantasy and ambition and all these things that you're going to do, because in that moment your future is boundless and it is uninhibited, and there are no obstacles. You don't have a kid who's homesick. You don't have the limitations of financial resources to take your truck and drive to some place for 2 or 3 days. Like, all of that stuff is completely doable in that moment. And this is literally like in an instant, all this, blooms in my mind, in my emotions.
All you have to do is spend that money.
Yeah. You just acquire this thing, and then where's the follow through? So sometimes, in the M11 could be, again, your mind going, well, you're acquiring some of these items that spawn those kind of fantasies, but the risk is so low. It's a $5 thing. It's a $20 thing. It's a $30 thing. So there's no follow through because the risk isn't there. And I don't think that if I, spent $15,000 on a high-end Leica system, that for a sustained amount of time, months, years later, I'd be out there toiling away with that camera, making work. And some of that it's not poor self-discipline. It's not a lack of ambition. It's not a lack of desire to do it. It's, for me, the crushing reality of adult life, partially self-imposed and partially, just being a dad and having to earn money. Like, there's things I just can't do in my fantasy world that will allow me to be present with my kids, to earn the revenue that I have to earn to pay for all the normal stuff we have. So there's that as well. And I think, and I'll wrap up, but even when I watch photography YouTubers or a Gary Winogrand documentary or something like that, I just sit there and think that they lead this amazing life where they literally can spend all day out taking photographs. They have nothing holding them back. They have maybe minimalist lifestyles where the demands on them for revenue are low, or they don't care about it as much as somebody else. All these things, and you just think, man, they've got it. William Eggleston just had it made because he could just go out anytime he wanted to and just make work endlessly, and the resources to print it and develop it, and once he got that first show at MoMA, he was golden. And obviously none of that's true.
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer.